IDEA Boost. That's what we're going to hop into now. And there's carbon calculation upstairs. So if you'd missed my announcement and you had signed up for that, carbon calculation is upstairs. All right. Speaking of clean energy, did you know that SPF 23 is Bullfrog powered with 100% green electricity? This means that Bullfrog powers generators put 100% green electricity onto the grid to match the amount of conventional electricity the event uses, displacing energy from polluting sources. Across Canada, Bullfrog's green electricity comes from a blend of wind, solar, and low-impact hydropower sourced from new Canadian renewable energy facilities. So thanks to Bullfrog for that. We're going to hop into Idea Boosts. Everybody's going to hang out up here. I'm going to introduce them one by one, and we're going to hear from innovators, we're going to hear from forward thinkers, we're going to hear from entrepreneurs about different solutions that they're bringing forward to continue to help decarbonize our industry. We're going to start with Amanda Steski, Senior Advisor, Health and Safety and Environment from CBC Radio-Canada.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, perfect. Can I grab this? Is it okay if I walk with Mike? Okay, great. So I'm Amanda Steski, and I'm the Senior Advisor of Health, Safety and Environment at CBC Radio-Canada. And I'm here today to talk to you about how we can leverage artificial intelligence to help us achieve our sustainability targets. So at CBC, we have a sustainability strategy. It's called Greening Our Story. And you can see that we have quite a few targets up here targeting energy reduction, water reduction, green productions using the Albert calculator. It touches on procurement, our fleet, and it also touches on waste management. So by 2026, our target is to have a waste diversion rate of 75%. And this is where Oscar comes in. So Oscar is a tool that we are using to help us increase our waste diversion rate. So Oscar is an AI, artificial intelligence, recycling assistant technology. And how Oscar works, so here we have a photo of Oscar in Montreal. So you can see there's a TV screen, there's our 4 waste bins, and then there's a small camera at the top there. So someone would walk right in front of Oscar, and let's say I had a coffee cup, and we're in Montreal, so I will be Oscar if I was in Montreal, because I know the recycling rules differ from municipality to municipality. So let's say I was to walk there with the coffee cup, Oscar's screen would change and would show me where the coffee cup lid would go, where the coffee cup would go, and where the cardboard sleeve would go. So in this case, Oscar's screen would change, and the cup would go in the landfill bin, the lid would go in the plastics bin, and the cardboard sleeve would go in the paper cardboard stream. So it's pretty fun, it's pretty interesting, and I'll get into a bit more details. So at CBC, we have 2 headquarters. We have one in Toronto and one in Montreal. And we've been piloting Oscar at both of these locations for the past year or so. So Toronto was live in October of last year, and Montreal was live as of end of March of this year. And both Oscars are in different locations. So what's interesting is that in Toronto, it's in an entrance to the building, it's publicly accessible, and a lot of the waste we're seeing is coffee cups and stuff that people have when they're in transit. Whereas in Montreal, Oscar's right by the cafeteria. So we're seeing a lot different waste, and we're getting a lot more traffic in that area. So it's interesting to compare both locations, and it's giving us a lot of data and insight that we are using. So what are the benefits of Oscar? So you might be wondering, I've been sorting waste since I'm a kid, forever. I know the rules, I know how it works. But as I mentioned earlier, every municipality has different waste and recycling rules. And to make things even more complicated, sometimes our waste management vendor, their recycling rules differ than the municipality. And an example of this is in Toronto, we can actually dispose of our coffee cups in the mixed plastic stream, whereas in the municipality, you can't do that and it has to go in landfill. So Oscar helps us with that education component, reminding folks of the recycling rules at the site. It also increases staff engagement. So everyone loves Oscar. Everyone's so curious about Oscar. Everyone wants us to move Oscar to their floors. Oscar's great, and everyone's excited about Oscar. It also empowers staff to be part of the solution, and it reduces contamination of waste stream. And Oscar has helped us do data-driven messaging. So I'll get into an example here. Oscar, the more items it sees, the better it gets at recognizing the item and prompting the individual to sort in the right bins. But the most interesting thing that I've found so far in this 1-year pilot is that Oscar's also collecting data. So Oscar can see what the item is, it can see if people are putting the item in the right stream, and if it's not, we get the data. So we've seen actually in both Toronto and Montreal, the item that is the most commonly thrown out in the wrong bin is napkins. We're seeing napkins go in the landfill bin, we're seeing them go in the paper cardboard bin, but in fact they should actually be going in the organics bin. So with Oscar, we're able to tailor the messaging on the screen so that we can remind people who might not know that napkins go in the organics bin. So Oscar and AI technology is helping us collect data and make better informed decisions and messaging to help us increase our waste diversion rate. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. I love it when AI can help. Next up, we have Gilles Marcel Laplante, Chief Executive Officer, Whiskey Jack Transport and Technologies. Welcome, Gilles.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me? Yep, excellent. I'm Gilles Laplante. I own Whiskey Jack Transport and Technologies. I'm also a producer in Vancouver. I've been producing for about, I've been in the industry about 30 years or so. Whiskey Jack was, this is the clicker, right? Excellent. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I don't speak publicly very often. Whiskey Jack was started in 2017 with the intention of developing, eco-friendly technology revolving around film equipment. This might have been a little bit before the wave of energy in the film industry to implement change. Our first idea was to come up with something similar to a off-grid sort of mobile battery, similar to what VoltStack is doing. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. Just give me a moment. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So basically, we got into the transport industry hoping to come up with ways to offset diesel and other chemicals that are associated with or highly used in the film industry. Through that research and development, we basically ended up getting into the electric vehicle sector. We currently have 3 5-ton trucks that are ready to deploy at any time in the film industry. I have used them on my shows quite a bit, and they are wonderful, as you know. They are Lion trucks. They were built in Montreal. I'm sure you're all familiar with Lion. They're also supplied by other vendors in Vancouver. There's a lot of positive. There's a lot of. My apologies. I'm so nervous. There's a lot of momentum towards using electric trucks. However, I'm finding there could be a lot more. Once we rolled out our 3 electric trucks, we found that the biggest issue in the industry was, of course, charging infrastructure. It was, aside from the issue of having rolled them out during COVID, probably our biggest obstacle. So we had taken steps to kind of figure out and work with our colleagues and counterparts and producers to figure out, how we could, work with electric trucks without the range anxiety that drivers were experiencing on a regular basis. And what we had come up with was a mobile charger. In, I think, 2021 or 2020, close to 2022, we had started developing the idea of a charger that could tie into an existing grid and or tie into a generator on set. We spent a lot of time and a lot of money, talked with a lot of different people. Some of you are in here, and we developed a little unit that we like to call Firefly. So this was a 60 kilowatt charger that can tie into an existing grid and or generator on set. We deployed Firefly on, I believe, its first show in maybe March of this year, and it was used to get our electric trucks from Vancouver to Kelowna to work on one of my shows. So it was a bit of a pilot project. I took all the risk, and we engaged a few drivers, Jenny operator, and dragged all these things up to Coquihalla and got them to Kelowna. I'll say that once you're sort of established in a city like Vancouver or Kelowna or wherever you are, the range anxiety is much less than driving up the Coquihalla with 3 electric trucks. But we did make it. And I'm here today to basically present to you our next iteration of Firefly. We have had the fortune to have our unit rented by some fairly big studios, and they have come back with a lot of feedback in terms of what could be better, how they could work better. And so I came up with a little design called Hydra, and it's a smaller mobile charger that also plugs into the grid, ties into the grid, can also tie into a generator. We haven't adapted batteries yet, which we'd like to work on. But at the moment, what the Hydra allows us to do, which Firefly cannot, is charge multiple vehicles at once, up to 3 vehicles. So this is just a concept. We're not, what we're hoping to show here is that the units will be much smaller, much more mobile, get into smaller spaces, probably the equivalent of, a parking stall. And you'll be able to basically charge 3 vehicles, 3 trucks at the same time, at any time. And basically these should be accessible within the next 3 months or so. We're well underway in terms of building them. Again, this is not a final design. And there'll be multiple sizes of chargers from 30 kilowatt to 60 kilowatt and more. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm sorry I was so nervous. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilles. Exciting stuff. All right, next up, Steve Bradwell, mechanical engineer, Valid Manufacturing. Oh, actually, quickly before I say that, you'll be able to see the 5-ton outside. When we're done in here, that 5-ton is going to be outside, and so please go check it out. So now, please let me welcome Steve Bradwell, mechanical engineer, Valid Manufacturing.
Thank you, and thank you all for allowing me to be, allowing me to be part of your IDEA Boost. I'm going to be presenting data related to emissions produced by mobile power generation on sets and talking about some ideas to help us all reduce those emissions. I live, work, and play in Salmon Arm, BC. This year, the rainfall in our area has been 30% of the annual average. People have been evacuated, lost homes to forest fires, and our Shuswap Lake is at a historical low. This is a global story that we're all having similar experiences with, and we know that carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases are playing a major part in these changes. According to a study done by Albert, on average, diesel generators account for 15% of total emissions on a tent pole film. Running at full output, a 1400 amp generator will produce around 125 kilograms of CO2 per hour, having a significant impact on greenhouse gas emissions. Our goal here is to recognize mobile power generation is essential to the work you do, and to look at the data and ask, are we generating this power in the most sustainable way? At Valid, we design and manufacture power generation equipment specifically for set productions. We have both diesel-powered generators and battery systems that have been working in your industry for years. To understand your impact, you must be able to measure it. Our studio generators and battery packs are equipped with remote monitoring to provide us with this data. As an OEM, we don't know who the users are or anything about their particular set, but we do have a lot of very good information on how much power is being drawn from these devices every minute of the day. And looking at how our diesel generators are really being utilized on set, we can see that 82% of the time these units are run at very low loads. When diesel generators are run this low, their fuel efficiency drops, resulting in higher operating costs and more greenhouse gas emissions being emitted. There's general recognition in the industry that these generators are being underutilized, yet we all seem paralyzed to move in a new direction. The issue seems to be that sometimes full power of these generators is required, and our data fully supports that. We definitely see these high loads, but they occur only a very, very small percentage of the time. So if we recognize we are operating at higher than necessary CO2 emissions and fuel costs, what can we do about it? There are a few ideas shown here, from engine choice to equipment sizing to making use of batteries and hybrid systems. Let's start by taking a look at the tier level of a diesel generator. Governments have set the allowable emissions for diesel engines in the form of tier levels. These standards deal with pollutants, including fine particulate matter and nitrous oxides. Starting from tier level 1s established in the 1990s to our current tier 4 level, these regulations have become more and more restrictive. And as you can see from the chart displayed, these advances in pollution control have been spectacular. So looking at just the improvements in the two most modern tier levels, you can see the reductions a tier 4 engine achieves over a tier 3. Nitrous oxide is a potent greenhouse gas with 300 times the global warming potential of CO2, and it will persist in the atmosphere for 100 years. You could be reducing that by 90%. Overall, the CO2 equivalent emissions on your set could be reduced by 15%. Each set location is unique, which brings us to the next discussion point, choosing the right size and type of power for your set. We're not the experts on what your particular set demands. All we can say is that the data is showing not all areas of production require a 1400 amp generator. Are there areas on your sets where smaller generators or battery packs could be utilized? When using battery packs on your set, how can you recharge them in the most sustainable way? The City of Vancouver continues to invest in power drops exclusive for your industry. Charging from BC Hydro versus a diesel generator will reduce greenhouse gas emissions by a factor of nearly 100. When your location does demand a diesel generator, using a hybrid application can maximize your efficiency. Ideally, you would power areas of the set with batteries for as long as possible, and then pair it with a generator that can handle the entire set load as well as charge the batteries. This pushes the generator higher on its load curve and therefore higher in its fuel efficiency. Wrapping up, let's summarize how the choices we make can impact fuel efficiencies and greenhouse gas emissions. Combining the savings of engine tier level with proper engine sizing, you could achieve a reduction of over 40%. Stepping up to a hybrid system, you can reduce fuel and greenhouse gas emissions by over 60%. And if it's possible to go all battery on your set, recharging from a power drop, you will have cut your emissions by a factor of nearly 100. So, thank you for your time today. Kamala and I from Team Valid will be here for the rest of the day. We'd love to have you come and see us. Okay.
I love how clear that data is. Thank you, Steve. And please check out Valid Manufacturing. They're outside in the studio theater when we're having lunch. There's going to be an opportunity to check out some equipment. Next up, Alex Onwudiwe, Sales and Account Manager, Bullfrog Power.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Everyone can probably hear me all right? Awesome, awesome. I hope you're all doing well. My name's Alex Onwudiwe. I'm here on behalf of Bullfrog Power. I'll be keeping this short just so you can all enjoy the great ideas being shared and the great ideas in the program being shared here today. I'd like to start with thanking Michelle and the rest of the SPF team for having me. I had the privilege of attending the conference in Toronto last month, actually, and when I realized scheduling aligned today, I kind of jumped at the opportunity to come back out here again, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. In the spirit of keeping things short, I'll give you a brief background on myself and my journey that has led to Bullfrog Power. I actually come from over 15 years in the food and beverage hospitality industry, one that most of you are probably pretty familiar with, as it's probably the side gig that allowed you to juggle those elusive film and television aspirations that got you here today. I was actually designing zero-waste cocktail programs and truthfully was really enjoying that mix of creativity and sustainability through a world that I knew very well. I did, however, set out a goal to go back to school and build on this intersection of my passions in January of 2020, right before everything came to a halt in March. Don't really need to go into those details, but would like to highlight that it is genuinely inspiring to see. I don't really need my slides, by the way. They're more so just visuals, so don't worry that they're not up there. It's really not big. You know what? You can just leave that one. The rest of it doesn't really matter. It's mostly filler just so I wasn't staring at a picture myself, but... But yeah, we don't really need to get into the details of the pandemic, but I would like to mention that it's actually really inspiring to see on the heels of the pandemic, so many different industries doubling down on their efforts to be more sustainable in their operations, and the film industry is no exception. I love that the industry as a whole is really rising to the occasion and integrating more sustainable approaches to the production, while also building out a network of resources to do so, which is kind of why I would be here today. If you're not familiar with Bullfrog Power, we're a renewable energy company. I'm going to attempt to use this because I did throw a couple slides. Oh, thanks, whoever's helping. If you're not familiar with Bullfrog Power, we're a renewable energy company. It's been in the space for over 18 years now. We actually started in the residential space, canvassing, very grassroots, and then in more recent years have broadened our horizons into the commercial space. We work with organizations of all sizes to connect them with decarbonization solutions that work to meet you wherever you are kind of along your journey. Whether you're developing comprehensive strategies to meet your net zero goals. I'm just going to skip ahead one more. Oh, thanks. Whether you're creating comprehensive strategies to meet your net zero goals or just getting started on how you can make a difference in your organizations, we can probably actually help. Three main solutions that we offer are green electricity, green natural gas, and green fuel. These products are commonly referred to as RECs, or Renewable Energy Certificates, which allow organizations to address those hard-to-reach areas of their operations by displacing the energy used that fall under Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. I'd be happy to chat about more of the ways that we can use these products and how they can be deployed, as I'm sure there's many areas the industry is looking to improve upon. We have long-standing partnerships with some really incredible groups, including the David Suzuki Foundation, WWF Canada, and the Downey Wenjack Fund, just to name a few. And we also work to support different community projects across Canada, bringing more renewable energy projects online to push forward the long overdue transition to more accessible, sustainable energy. We'll leave it on this one for now. There we go. Also kind of echoing some of the sentiments that Melina actually said earlier, I'd like to take a step back and really emphasize with everyone that's finally try to take some strides towards being more sustainable in their operations. Energy, though it's a really important in that puzzle, it is just one piece of that puzzle. If you take anything from what I'm saying here today, Bullfrog Power should be a tool that you can use kind of if and wherever it makes sense for you. Obviously happy to chat about that later on with you, but I know the term turnkey solutions are really overused, but that is really kind of what Bullfrog Power is. It's a turnkey solution to kind of bridge those hard to reach areas in your operations. But with that being said, you should always try to reduce it at the source wherever possible. And even just listen to a few of the ideas today, there's some really great solutions there. I'm sure not all of them are necessarily going to get us there all the way, or else someone probably would have monopolized that already. But yeah, we're kind of there to help bridge those gaps along the way as well, and kind of bolster those initiatives you're doing further. I met some great people last month at the Toronto conference and look forward to meeting the rest of you here this afternoon. If anything I've rambled on about piqued your interest, please come find me and let's chat a little bit more about how we can help support your productions and get creative with supporting your sustainability goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, next up, Paul Dudeck, Vice President, Global Business Development Innovations, Videndum Production Solutions. So come on up, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. As Steve indicated earlier, a lot of people are pushing towards removing gas and diesel generators on set and become more reliant on battery power as it is more sustainable. It's also quieter and reduces, obviously, a ton of carbon emissions on set. Anton Bauer has been in the battery industry, the leader in the battery industry in the broadcast and film world for over 50 years. I've been with him for 30 of those years, 32 to be exact. And we're always developing the highest quality, longest lasting products. That's one of our goals, make sure that we deliver, the highest quality product to our customers. When we started looking at new technologies, we always look at different cell chemistries that are out there. Our current line is 98% lithium based, but we're always looking for different technologies. Our new product manager, when he came aboard, had some experience with a sodium battery, which has been around for a long time. It's a sodium nickel battery. And we were trying to figure out, where we could apply this technology so we could start moving more towards a sustainable future. And we're limited on size, so we couldn't use this battery technology in our on-camera batteries that we build for the broadcast and film industry. But when we saw this need in the film and industry for a replacement for a generator, we thought this would be the perfect solution for it. So we came up with the Salty Dog, which is a sodium nickel battery. This battery that we use in it, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's probably been around for about 50 years. It's used in nuclear warheads, hence the safety and the reliability of it. It's used on electric buses over in Switzerland that have been in use for almost 20 years. So it is a very proven technology. So why go to a sodium-based battery versus lithium? That's, obviously very abundant all over the place. But lithium, as we all know, is, not the greatest raw material to mine. So we're trying to get away from that. It is used in electric cars. I think we all know that right now. But with a sodium-based technology, the sodium nickel is much safer than lithium. Can't catch fire, can't explode, no shipping restrictions, and a much longer lifespan. So it's probably 3 to 4 times the lifespan of a lithium cell. Hence, you're not replacing it as much, so it becomes even more sustainable in the long run. We also made it so that when this battery does die later on in life, you can actually resell it. So you're not just replacing the whole battery, you can just replace the cell pack or upgrade it to a future technology if we come up with something different. But I'm not going to bore you with the details of the specs of the product. We have one out here in the hallway, so if you'd like to come see it, I'd love to talk to you about it. But again, yeah, this Salty Dog. Anybody can bark if they want or howl. So, yeah, it's made for production. So, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. So as he mentioned, we have a Salty Dog here. They are premiering in North America. We've had it was at SPF Toronto. It's here in Vancouver. So always very exciting. Next up, Ben Mercier, Director of Business Development, The Driving Force, Inc. Come on up.
Thank you, Melanie. All right, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Driving Force and what we're doing in the sustainability space. This will not be nearly as innovative and interesting as some of the other presentations, but it will be practical. So it has that going for it. Just a little bit of background here. So if you're not familiar with Driving Force, which I think a lot of people here in the film industry, I believe, are fairly familiar with us as a company. We've been around for about 45 years. We've been in BC for over 10 years. And the film industry is a huge part of our business out here. They've been very good to us as a business. And so for the past handful of years, we've been working to make sure that we have a product that aligns with the sustainability efforts in film. And of course, it's something that's also important to us as a company. So the way that we do that is trying to get more EVs out there on the road. And by the way, we do have two vehicles here. They're just outside, alongside a Whiskey Jack's Lion 6. We've got an E-Transit along with a Mach-E. Shift this over a little bit here. Okay, so this first slide here, the reason I put some of these names up here is because one of the things that I've found to be true in the past year or two is that we need partners and relationships in order to make a go of this with this kind of transformational activity that's taking place with sustainability. And certainly we need partners all across the board at the studio level. We've had some pretty neat innovative ideas out here today in terms of charging solutions. But us working together, I think, is the way that's going to actually bring some of these things about. So these are some of the partners that we've been working with. We've been getting direct input from transportation coordinators who've been kind enough to come and kind of look at what we're doing and give us feedback on mobile charging solutions as well, which is a big piece of this. So that's important. I think it's important that we keep kind of working together that way. So just a little look here at some of the inventory that we have. So you can see showcased the Lion 6, which is a medium duty truck. Again, that Whiskey Jack gave you a look. It's basically the same vehicle, same configuration. So that's we have 10 of those on fleet. That's a big part of what we provide to film and other industries. The cargo van there, it's an E-Transit, and then the Lightning. And we also have another probably 5 or 6 models going down as far as cars, compact cars, and SUVs. So across the company, about 200 on fleet, close to 100 here in Vancouver. So it's becoming a growing part of our inventory here. And again, the film industry has been a huge and great supporter of helping us get that product on the road. But if there's an immediate way to cut some greenhouse emissions, it is by renting electric vehicles. It certainly and it saves you some money on the energy cost as well. So it's not a bad way to go when you look at the entirety of it. I don't know if this is just a really, really ugly slide or if this is perhaps a little infomercial here. Is this a video? I'll hit.
Electrify your fleet with Driving Force, your partner for cleaner, greener commercial transportation. We help keep your business moving forward with a reduced maintenance, a proven safety record, and a cleaner, more efficient journey for your fleet. Discover the power of the Lion Class 6 commercial truck. Its 26-foot van body and power lift gate gives you the range you need with sustainable, reliable performance. At Driving Force, we help ensure deliveries are dependable with the Ford E-Transit. Enjoy a quiet ride that gets your cargo where it needs to go without worry and without emissions. Join the electric revolution with Ford's F-150 Lightning, delivering a world of EV technology in this epic truck series. Connect with us today for electric vehicle solutions matched with superior service.
Thought it was really important that we have a mini movie there since we're talking about film. And you can find that video on YouTube. You have to search really hard, but if you could go and take a look, it'd get us past 6 views and maybe up to double digits. So that would be kind of nice as well. I will have done my job if we can do that. Okay, so one of the big components with this that's been a challenge, of course, has been the actual charging infrastructure. So fortunately here in Vancouver, we actually have a pretty good public charging network, like I think leading the way for a lot of Canada. So that's great. It mostly helps with the smaller vehicles, to be candid. So we're really working hard on getting some solutions for vehicles that, like the Lion 6, that require level 3 charging, as well as trying to work with some different partners to find solutions for mobile charging. So when those vehicles are on location, that we've got some options there. So these are a couple just different things that we've been looking at. It's not the entirety of it, but some different options here. You can see the one on the far right plugs directly into a generator on set, and that provides level 2 charging. So that's a pretty great solution for those smaller vehicles. And then there's just another product here. This is a little different approach, one that actually stores the power, so up to a 300 kilowatt configuration. And so you can charge that, store your battery power, use it in a remote setting, and then feed that back, of course, to charge your vehicles, and that'll work with level 3. And then some of what we're just doing at our own locations. So I've got a shot here both of our Langley location as well as a shot out in Mississauga. So these are, of course, available to charge our vehicles, and we're moving towards, I don't have a time frame on this, but at our Burnaby location, which services most of the film-related business here in Vancouver, we're working towards getting some level 2 and level 3 chargers that'll be semi-public, and so those will be prioritized for people in film. So we're working right now with BC Hydro. We have to do some power upgrades there, but we've done some work to move in that direction. And it looks like that is about it. So thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. And as Ben mentioned, we have a Mach 3 and we have the cargo outside, so please check them out. Next up, Andrew Robinson, Principal Sustainability Strategy and Engagement, GreenSpark Group.
Ooh. Thank you for having me. And glad to have a chance to speak. Maybe I'll leave that in there. Everyone can hear me okay? All right. So I'm here to talk about this report. So in 2022, we were retained by the regional government of Metro Vancouver to look at the use of diesel generators in the region and the clean power alternatives to help find some opportunities for the film industry. The report came out in May, but it was recently made public just in August, and there's a link here if you want to take a photo of this, because I know it's a long link. This is basically based on research that we did in 2022. We spoke to an awful lot of people, I'm sure many of you in this room, and we also used some data from some of the stakeholders in here to assess what the results in here. So I'm just going to be able to talk to you about a few of the findings and opportunities that we found, because there's a lot in the report, and I encourage you to take a look at it. But the first thing is that, we know that Vancouver, like many other filming jurisdictions, uses typically tier 3 diesel generators to power their sets. And as you know, the burning diesel doesn't just create greenhouse gas emissions, but a lot of criteria or contaminants, including nitrous oxides, as was previously mentioned, and we breathe that. So we tried to quantify that to get a sense of how much we actually used in the industry. And we also wanted to look at where the filming hotspots were, as this kind of provides a really strong rationale for where additional power kiosk investment and development could occur. We're already off to a really great start in the city of Vancouver, as most of you know, and there's investments being looked elsewhere. And there's also distinct filming hotspots in these other 4 regional jurisdictions that we found. And the report provides greater detail in terms of the days of use at each specific location in each municipality. So that's hopefully feeding some discussions that can be initiated to look at prioritizing those locations for clean technology investment or incentives. So what are some of the other things that we found? Well, we found that based on our research interviews, it confirmed that diesel generators aren't only used on location, but they're also kind of frequently used to power circuits located at our converted sound stages. And that's part of the reason why there's a fair amount of emissions that were acknowledged here in the Sustainable Production Alliance report that came out in 2021. So we confirmed the earlier reports that noted that due to the large number of generators that we use and the size of the generators, that we're relatively fossil fuel intensive, but this is not unique. Other filming jurisdictions are in the same ballpark. And for the 6,100 days of filming that we were able to triangulate in 2021, which is underreported as sound stages don't report all the days that they're in use. There's no requirement for them to do so. We use that number to basically estimate that the cumulative amount of emissions is about 17,500 tons of CO2 equivalent per year in the region. But as we've seen and heard by many, many people here today, there are solutions for absolutely every application where diesel generators are actually being used today, and that's really great. Not only that, is that Vancouver, or the Metro Vancouver region, BC, has the widest amount of experience, both in terms of breadth and depth of using clean technology, of using power kiosks, of using renewable fuels, as compared to any other filming jurisdiction in North America. So that provides us with a lot of opportunity, a lot of stuff to work with, to build momentum and look at alternatives. And the report also kind of looked at, if we looked at just converting sound stages, having adequate power at all the converted sound stages that were in Metro Vancouver today, and just targeted that initiative, that would provide a meaningful pathway to reduce, almost 500,000 metric tons of CO2 per day. And that's based on the data that we have, and we know that there are more days where the sound stages are being used. So, that came out weird. Okay. So some of the solutions and recommendations that we found were that the incentive availability is currently fairly limited, but there are incentives here and stuff to build on that have shown proof of concept and they're successful. And it also varies across the jurisdiction. So the jurisdictions currently have different permit fees, and we're recommending to make a broad, sweeping, fee-based incentive, making right now, because they're not similar across jurisdictions, it does make it difficult to have a broad sweeping fee-based incentive. But it is workable to overcome this. A meaningful solution can be found, and we recommend that all the stakeholder groups that we mentioned up there work together to access, compile, and use regional data to help inform a pathway forward. So through these collaborative discussions, we really believe that we recommend exploring ways to enhance the regulatory environment to establish a regional clean energy filming standard. Now, this standard, in part, could help to ensure that facilities have sufficient power so generators aren't needed per circus on those locations. The standard can also help to establish clean energy options as the default for powering sets, as opposed to as an alternative to generators. And there are opportunities to work with the NERDY bylaw. I love that name, the NERDY bylaw, to help phase out the oldest and the most polluting generators. And that's already being fairly effective, but it's not necessarily targeted to the filming industry. So we also believe that there's opportunity for local municipalities to work to align or complement regionally with the City of Vancouver's film industry clean energy policy framework, which provides a great framework that other ones can use to as a roadmap. And there's an opportunity to explore consistent permit fees and processes across municipalities to allow for regional clean energy incentive programs. And finally, we think that there's opportunity to work to enable consistent cross-jurisdictional data. So what data are we using? How is it consistent? How is it helping us inform the same decision-making processes for a regional strategic approach to reducing film-related emissions via infrastructure, investment, and development? There's a lot more in the report, and I know that was a lot to cover in just 6 or 7 minutes, but hopefully it's given you a bit of a teaser to find out like what's the data behind that. How did they come to those conclusions? I'd like to know what other recommendations are in there, so please come and talk to me afterwards or have a look at the report that was at the beginning of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And then next up, Jason Hawkins, CEO and co-founder, reusables.com. Come and join us, Jason.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate being here today. I'm here with 2 members from my team, Anastasia Kiku, who's my co-founder, and Cooper Rowe. Again, really thanks to Melanie, Tina, and Zena for inviting us. We are a local circular economy startup. We're not really film people, but we've gotten into film the last couple of years, supporting with reusable food packaging. So our business started during the pandemic. We were working with restaurants, cafes, grocery stores. We have about 100 in BC that we support to do zero waste takeout and food delivery. So we provide washing, we provide the assets, we provide tracking systems so we can ensure we get them back. And we're on a mission to try and eliminate single-use packaging waste. So what we provide for film and TV production sets is, as I mentioned, the assets themselves. We do provide a collection and washing service. We provide return stations, and we provide friendly people to be able to support your crew to be able to reuse. So the benefit here is what we're finding. We've done so far 3 film productions, and the benefit is a reduction in cost of single-use packaging. There also is a reduction in cost on the waste management fees. So what we found is that we're able to offer a solution that is what we call, like a net zero cost increase. So if you look across the board of the savings compared to what you spend on single-use packaging and waste hauling, we can go completely zero waste, like truly zero waste, and have very little or no cost increase. These are some of the assets that we provide. So we like stainless steel bowls and cups. There's some outside if you have a chance to have a coffee or some food later on. We also have a number of other units. So we like to work with catering to help them find solutions that meet their meals and enhance the experience overall. So the food stays warmer for longer. It's kind of nicer eating out of a stainless steel dish in general. A bit of a higher performance experience for your crew. So on the return station side, this is what kind of like version 1 looked like. It's pretty simple, right? It's just, it's just returning your dishes and washing them. So I guess we're not really reinventing the wheel here, but that's what it looks like. There's one outside as well, so you can try it yourself. This is our wash facility in South Vancouver. So we, again, do daily collection and cleaning. So we'll provide new dishes to the set, whether it's at studio or on location, for catering and craft services daily, and then we'll do that washing at our centralized facility. The impact that we're having here is not only on the single-use packaging waste, but also on the carbon emissions. So we track this at our cleaning facility and then provide that to the production through a report, or it can be made available on a weekly basis as well. So we did, our biggest show that we've done is with Disney, with Hans was the production manager there, Hans Dale. So we were able to definitely flexed our muscle of like how many dishes can we wash. It was a lot, but we did it, and we were really proud of the impact that we had. So we were able to go almost completely zero waste on that show. Since then, we've also worked with Robin Weiner on a smaller show as well, and that one we'd have done the same thing. So we tried to sort of prove that we can do this for big shows and small shows. There's Hans. I don't know if, sorry Hans, I didn't ask you if you could do this, but can we play the video? Sorry,
had
man.
a significant decline in our carbon footprint we had a significant decline in the volume of garbage that we generated, and to the point where what we would normally see was 1 or 2 large dumpster dumps a week. There were months where we didn't even do a dumpster turnover for 3 or 4 weeks. So we were reducing waste quite significantly. So that was very big for us, and it was a huge data point for us to be able to celebrate with our crew and say, look, we're generating so little garbage that we don't have to bring, we don't have to swap out our dumpsters. There is a little premium that you're going to have to pay to be responsible, but there's other opportunities where you're throwing things out, where you're throwing money out. When you're not throwing things out, you're not throwing the money out, and that's what's got to be reevaluated. When you start to think about repurposing and reusing, and that gets applied all over the place in every little nook and cranny of the production, you start to see saves instantly. And so there is a little bit of a trade-off, but at the same time, the thing that you're doing is the right thing versus doing the wrong thing and just throwing something in the garbage, wasting it.
Love it. So it was cool. We got to pilot that out, and there's again some pictures here. So thanks, Hans, for allowing for that to happen. Yeah. So that's it. And if you would like to get in touch with us, we're open for business whenever you are open for business. And please feel free to take a screenshot of that and get in touch with me. I'll be outside as well later. So thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to everybody. As Jason mentioned, reusables will be outside. The best way to understand how something works is by using it, and that's really what we try to do at SPF all the time. So we're just in a moment, I will let you head out to the atrium for a light lunch, thanks to Flavors of Hope and Reusables, and for interactive activations, as we've been talking about this whole hour. So with clean tech vendors and suppliers that are providing innovative low-carbon solutions for the film and TV sector. So we will find outside Whiskey Jack and Driving Force, and in the Studio Theater, Valid Manufacturing, Anton Bauer's Salty Dog, William F. White International, and Sunbelt Rentals. But before, let me tell you a little bit about Flavors of Hope. So Flavors of Hope is a non-profit social enterprise that envisions a world where newcomer women flourish and experience belonging through cooking, storytelling, community building, and entrepreneurship. Through the Dream Cuisines food business program, Flavors of Hope is dedicated to empowering and equipping newcomer women entrepreneurs to start their food businesses, allowing them to transform their passion for cooking and sharing food into a viable source of income. Flavors of Hope is proud to receive the Emerging Leader Award from Downtown Vancouver Business Improvement Association in honoring their work and recognizing sustainable impact in the community. So today we have 5 incredible chefs presenting traditional food from Syria, Egypt, Mexico, Colombia, and India. So learn more about these fabulous chefs just outside. They're more than happy to keep you nourished. And please visit them at the Vancouver Farmers Market. So we'll see you back here at 1 p.m. for more program. Is it 1 p.m.? Yes. Yes, we'll see you back here for the movie, and there's another workshop upstairs. Thank you very much, folks.